Hey everyone, what I'd like to do in this video is talk about a topic which is a little bit sensitive, a little bit controversial, but it's something that comes up time and time and time again. And it's this idea that video games make you violent. Video games have a negative impact on society and they make people do very bad things. Now this isn't new. This is something which has been coming up time and time again since the 70s. Back in the 70s and 80s, it was Atari being blamed for, any kind of social problems. And then it was Nintendo and then Sega and yada, yada, yada. But if you look on Reddit just now, look on the gaming news subreddit, you will see that this is something which is coming up again. And, this is obviously a reaction to what has happened in the USA. But, just kind of scrolling through, I'm not going to go through each article itself. I just want to kind of show you the headlines here. Walmart removing all violent video game adverts, but you can still buy guns over the counter. Video games can be a gateway to problem gambling. This could be related to loot boxes. ESPN delays Apex Legends tournament broadcast in wake of shootings. Biden says video games are not healthy, but not the cause of carnage. And if you go down, you'll see other kind of stories about this as well. It is something which is in the news right now. Now, I've never really talked about really serious topics on my channel. To be honest, I really don't want to talk about politics or religion or beliefs or anything like that. What I think connects people on my channel is the fact that we all have a shared interest in gaming and technology and things like that. So if anyone leaves a comment, please do be respectful to each other. We all come from different areas in the world. We all have different beliefs, etc. But of course, I can't talk about the video game and violence thing without talking about what's happened in the USA. I don't want to delve too deep into it, but obviously it was very sad what happened in the USA with the mass shootings. And I think it's obvious as well that as a European, as someone from the UK, I am not pro-gun. I've not grown up around guns and, I'm not going to have a pro-gun view. And I don't think many people in the UK do. What these kind of news articles are, to me, on the surface, perhaps looking from outside the USA, seems like a knee-jerk reaction from politicians and the media. And it seems like they're simply looking for a scapegoat. They're looking to blame someone or something for what happened. And this is something that's happened many, many times in the past. Whenever something happens, something bad happens, they will start blaming video games. Now, video games can be influential, but so can movies, so can books, so can music, so can alcohol, so can prescription drugs, so can marijuana, so can a million different things. But it always seems to be video games that are pushed as violence, pushed as this thing that makes people violent, that makes people do horrible things. Now, I don't profess to be an expert on this subject. I certainly don't profess to be an expert on this subject, but I have looked at studies of this. I've looked at different articles online, and there doesn't seem to be any concrete evidence that actually suggests that video games do make people violent. Now, I've played video games since I was like 3 years old or something. I remember playing the Atari when I was still kind of bobbing around as a little kid. And I've played the Nintendo, Sega consoles. I've played everything. I've been playing all my life, and I'm now 40 years old. And I've never seen anything to suggest that video games do make anyone violent. I know there's a lot of other things that make people violent, but I don't think video games do. Some of the people I know that play video games, and they play video games most days, or they play it every week whenever they get time. They're the most nicest, most loving, most caring people I've ever met in my life, and they're not violent. So when you take that out of the equation, it does make you realize that video games aren't the issue here. I think most people would agree with that. I do think most people do agree with that. Now, it's not always black and white. I don't think that, like 5-year-old kids should be playing Call of Duty or playing anything like that. But I think that most healthy people, most healthy human beings can have fun playing a first-person shooter or playing Grand Theft Auto and realize that this is fantasy. It's no different to watching a film. It's no different to reading a book. It's fantasy. And when you stop playing that game or reading that book or watching that movie, it's over. You don't run out and start doing anything bad. It's just one of those things. I just think that sometimes video games, the whole industry, whenever anything goes wrong in any aspect of society, they always point towards video games. Sometimes they'll say it's heavy metal music or rap or something else like that. But the media and politicians do always push this agenda that video games are, this kind of evil thing. And again, I could talk about this subject for an hour or so. I think I'd end up going round in circles and circles. Just keep going back to the same point about it. But I have never seen anything in my life to suggest that anyone who plays video games is more or less violent because they played them. And it doesn't matter if they play kind of cutesy games like this or whether they're playing army games and things like that. I don't think it is a factor. And I think that the people who do anything that's bad or evil or disturbed, I think those people were already like that. And if they didn't get, any kind of release through video games, they would have got it somewhere else. I'd like to hear what you guys think about this. As I said, it is a sensitive subject, it is a controversial subject. And please be respectful if you do leave a comment. I don't want this to be a discussion about the mass shooting and things like that. I think that's a separate debate whatsoever. I really want to hear what people think about video games in general and, the negative impact or perceived negative impact that they have on society. And don't get me wrong, I know that video games can be bad in certain situations. If you're trying to go through university and you're playing video games too much, that isn't good. If you're, not socializing with your friends or not seeing your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever because you're playing video games too much, then that isn't healthy. But I think that video games can be a healthy part of anyone's life, just the same way as TV and movies and books and music and all that can as well. It's just a form of entertainment to me. Thanks for watching, guys. Over to you. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Leave a comment below and I'd love to hear what you think about all this. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.